What's going on, everybody? DStyleBoxing here. This is a Sunday afternoon over here. It's about noon and 22 minutes. So 12:22 p.m. over here. I hope everyone is having a good Sunday. Let me crack. It is afternoon, so I could crack open a beer now and not look like an alcoholic. You know, I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen. If it's before noon, is when you look like an alcoholic. But afternoon on a Sunday, you don't look alcoholic. You know what I mean? It's what I'm saying. It's all I'm going to say. I want to talk about last night, and I don't want to dive into everything like player Cobbs. I mean, obviously, he was getting roasted, man, on Twitter, bro. Both Spence and Crawford. And you could say rightfully so went at this dude. Let me know how the audio is, by the way. Just let me know. Is it too loud? Is it just right? Do I sound like I'm on the mic or not? Just let me know how it sounds, okay, if you guys don't mind. Also, Puerto Rican Rum, how's it going? Major Key in the building, JC. Everybody check out Major Key too. Yeah. It is Sunday, okay. Check him out tomorrow on Monday on this channel. It's going to have David Benavides. I'm going to try to join, but I just got something going on with the job, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it, but everybody check him out. SSC in the building, how's it going? All right, how is it going? How's it going? 8CP, ladies and gentlemen, hashtag 8CP. Look, man, I don't know how else to put it to you guys, and I have a lot to say. I just want to make sure the notification gets out there a little more. But and G Funky listening for now. Shout out to G Funky, by the way. All right, everybody, congratulate G Funky. It's he's had him and his wife's had a baby girl, so shout out to them, and all blessings and everything, all good, positive vibes that we could send his way. Shout out to him. All right. Look, man. So I was watching the ESPN card. Okay. I was watching the ESPN card. While I was watching it, right? I was watching the card. First of all, Xander Zayas, to me, he's only 19 years old. His punt selection is great. The little tweaks that he's going to make, in my opinion, that's going to make him better. This kid is the future. All right. I mean, make no mistake about it. And yeah, there you go. Everybody giving him some love there. You know what I mean? Let me know if the audio is good. Am I breaking up? Can you guys hear me? Is everything good? Yeah, you know what I mean? Just let me know how the audio is, by the way. I listened to my last video and I was breaking up a lot. I just want to make sure I'm not breaking up and shit like that. But I want to talk about something I've been talking about. I'm not Monday morning quarterbacking this. And I can't stand people that Monday morning quarterback. I can't stand it. Right? There's people that I once saw on the Berlanga train. Now that they've gone from supporting him to now they're trashing him. And I just can't stand people like that. That's just my opinion. Okay? People can do what they want. I'm not here to tell people how to be, how to act, and all that other stuff. That's not me, okay? But shout out to Nando, by the way. Shout out Nando Yamas. Thank you for that super chat from the last show. I appreciate it, brother. Look, I've always I still feel the same way about Berlanga. My opinion hasn't changed. By the way, shout out to Nando Yamas for that super. That Twitter's goofy. Kafa with heart. Berlanga is talented but needs a Munguia type retrofit. I want to touch on that. I said this last year. I remember saying this on multiple roundtables. I remember saying this. I said, Berlanga needs rounds. Blasting everybody out in the first round is not going to help his development, and there is something to that. Like, fighters need to be developed. All right? Now, I don't want to hear all the easy shit, because I keep hearing, oh, well, he's 25! Dude, he needs development. Like that's just point blank, period. Now, you might argue that's too late. He went, what was it, 16 straight fights, knocking everybody out in the first round? I'm saying that's not good. Oh, but this style, a W's a W. All right? A W's a W. I'm going to take the W. No, sometimes a W isn't just a W. All right? Sometimes a W is detrimental because you didn't learn anything. All right? You think because they had you do push-ups after the fight, but somehow that's telling me that they're working on your development? No, you need real, like development. You need to be developed in the right way. Point blank. And there's something missing with Berlanga. Right now, he has an identity crisis. I keep looking at my Twitter timeline. Berlanga needs to win by knockout. Berlanga needs to spark this guy out. Berlanga needs to dominate and take him out early. If Berlanga doesn't win by knockout, it's a disappointment. If Berlanga doesn't win by knockout, he isn't the truth. If Berlanga doesn't win by knockout, I'm going to give up on him. If Berlanga doesn't win by knockout, he ain't what people said he was. If Berlanga doesn't win by knockout, ladies and gentlemen, he's a failure. Well, geez, that sounds like a lot of pressure on the guy to stop Steve Rolls. Now, one may say, oh, but this time he's supposed to stop Steve Rolls. I mean, Gennady Golovkin took him out in the 4th round. But shout out to all the Gennady Golovkin fans, by the way, that are taking it as some victory for Gennady Golovkin. But the whole fight, Berlanga's looking for the knockout. And he's looking for the knockout because all he keeps hearing is, you got to knock this guy out. Okay. Well, I mean, like, in boxing, the higher you go in the level, higher level you go, you have to set up these knockouts. You can't just get it. Okay? You can't just, like, I'm just going to get the knockout just because. I'm going to land this big punch, and then what are you going to do? I didn't see Berlanga work on cutting off the ring. I didn't see Berlanga work on his jab much. I didn't see Berlanga work on his head movement, his footwork much. I didn't see him work on any of that. The same old dude looking for that big knockout punch. The same old slugger looking for the big knockout punch. Well, what happens? We know you have power. But what happens when someone doesn't cooperate with you in that ring? I'm sorry. I'm not impressed with, well, he was running the whole fight. Dude. Oh, he brought it to Triple G. He didn't bring it to me. Dude. Shout out to Young Billy Boxing in the building. How you doing, brother? Bruce Goes in the building. Jesus Sim. And JC says he never supported him. This is a man with an identity crisis. First of all, they got to do something about that corner, bro. He knows there's a problem because in the post-fight interview he said, oh, they're all telling me the same thing. They're all telling me the same thing. There should be one dude giving you instructions, okay? One. You don't need 4 or 5 dudes, 3 or 4 dudes yelling at you in the corner. All right? And he's going back and doing the same thing anyway. Shout out to Writing Yogi in the building. Says, saludos, Eric. I thought the hesitation was more about his coach trying to round out his technical skills, and he seemed to overthink his every move. He is overthinking himself. He is overthinking himself. He's having an identity crisis. That's what's happening. I like something Bradley said, and I heard it on Maestro A's channel, and he said this. Subscribe to Maestro A, by the way. Bradley said he needs to get trained as if he wasn't a knockout artist. He needs to fight these guys as if he wasn't a knockout artist, right? Set up the right hand and the hook like if you weren't a knockout artist. Like, you just need to land it. Because if you have power, the knockout's gonna happen. All right? I hate the excuses as well. YB, I hate the excuses as well. There's too many Chiefs and not enough Indians in that corner for Berlanga. Way too many. Y'all can't be like the quarterback. Y'all can't be saying hike, okay? One's supposed to be the cut man, right? The others are supposed to be doing whatever they need to be doing. There's going to be one dude giving instructions, all right? We don't need 3-4 dudes yelling at Berlanga every fucking time, all right? Berlanga needs to go out there, and he doesn't have a lot of time, guys. He's already 25 years old. That hourglass has already started, okay? Like I'm just telling you. Now, granted, look, Jamal hasn't fought shit. He's already 31, right? So he's got some time. But at the end of the day, he needs to start developing. He's already gone the distance 3 times. And I remember the first time he went the distance, I said, well, this is not a bad thing. He needs this. He needs to go to the distance. I mean, like, if he keep knocking everybody out in the first round, he's going to run into the wrong dude, and they're going to knock him the fuck out. They're going to destroy him, right? So now I guess he's coming to the realization that, look, I'm not here to knock everybody out in the first damn round. I'm not here to knock everybody out as soon as they get in the ring with me. I don't have the touch of death. The touch of death has never existed in boxing, okay? People think it does. People fall in love with power because power is magnetic to the steel of our desires, ladies and gentlemen. But there's no such thing as a touch of death, okay? There's always going to be somebody that could take your best punch. But look at Wilder. Like people were saying that there was people saying that Wilder could beat Muhammad Ali because he had such a big punch. This shit's crazy. But in the case of Berlanga, back to Berlanga. Berlanga needs to fight as if he doesn't have power. I know it sounds crazy, right? But he needs to fight that way. He just set up the punches. Like, set them up. And if the knockout comes, it comes. You shouldn't go in there with the mentality that I need to knock this guy out or I'm a failure. That is a dumb mentality to go into a prize fight with. Then all the other guy's going to do is fight negative and make sure you don't knock him out to stifle your confidence. Like, don't worry about that. Don't worry about the knockout, dude. If the knockout comes, it comes. But you got to start using your jab. You got to start cutting off the damn ring. You have to start beating this dude to the punch. You need to keep your head off the damn center line. Those sort of things you need to start worrying about, okay? You need to start putting punches together. You need to start going to the body a little more. You went a little bit late in the fight, a little too late. Man, you're supposed to invest in the body early. Why are you investing in the body later? Like, what are you doing? You don't get the interest later. You invest in the body early to get the investment later. Speaking of Beck the Bully, I think it's time to put Beck the Bully and Edgar Berlanga in the ring. Crossroads fight. Whoever wins, wins. And that's it. Shout out to the Don. How you doing, brother? Y'all better just hit the like button. Make sure you do that. Ladies and gentlemen, Berlanga has an identity crisis. He's trying to find the big knockout punch while at the same time trying to implement a lot of the things that they've been teaching him in training. Right? And he's trying to do both things simultaneously, and it's not working. Like, it just isn't. You could look at his body language after the fight. He looked disappointed. Clearly. He was frustrated. And all these people that put this like stuff on him, like here, you got to knock him out. You got to win by knockout. If you don't win by knockout, you're a failure. Berlanga experiment is no good if he doesn't win by knockout. Oh, well, look, he's already 25 years old. He needs to be, knocking out Rolls in 3 rounds because Golovkin did it in 4, and it's a beat the clock challenge. So all these things are affecting him. Hey, you're already 25, bro. You got to be here already. Hey, you got to knock out Steve Rolls. Like Triple G knocked him out. You got to knock him out faster. You're bigger than him. He's moving up to fight you. Oh, you know what? You need to do this. You need to do that. Oh, but at the same time, he's getting all these other instructions. Hey, use your jab. Okay, cut off the ring. Just try to box a little bit. And I kept hearing from people who vouch for Berlanga telling me, no, he could box. Don't worry about it. He could box. Don't even worry about it. I know he's knocking everybody out in the first round, but he could box. Well, he's got boxing skills. I'm waiting to see these skills. He's had 3 straight fights to do it, right? Puerto Rican rum, you're right. That was the closest thing to a death touch for sure. You don't got the death touch. You do got power, which means everyone's going to have respect for you. How do you disguise that power? And what do you do while, if somebody goes in there with the mentality, I'm going to take away Berlanga's left hook, right? Well, what are you going to do with your right hand? I just think that there's a lot that Berlanga needs to improve on. There's a lot that Berlanga needs to work on. And there is an hourglass there. But I think they need to set aside like 3 years or 2 years to just work on these things before they step them up. Sure, it's going to be 27, 28 by the time, but in the long run, it'll be better for him. Don't listen to the people saying, okay, stop listening to people saying that he's already 25. He's not a prospect. He's already 25. Like, look, you're not a world titleist, okay? You don't have a belt. Okay, yeah, you have the NABF or whatever, but NABO, whatever it is. But you're not a world champion. Stay active. Don't worry about the age and what people are saying. Don't worry about trying to get the knockout every fight. Just go and work on your craft. That's what you need. And find an identity. You cannot go in there trying to do multiple things at once that are contrary to each other. You can't be trying to find that big knockout punch, but at the same time trying to implement what they're working and training with you right now. You just can't do that. Okay? Negro says, I agree with you. What he's trying now is not natural for him, and because it's not instinctual, we don't see the same speed. It's like paint by numbers, and it'll be that way until it's not. There you go. Berlanga needs to set up his punches. If you're going to be the guy that comes forward and applies pressure, then you need to work on cutting off the ring. You need to work on setting up your punches that way. All right? Making sure your head's not on the center line while you come in. Then that's what you need to do. If you're a Terminator, go in there and be a Terminator. If you're going to lose, if you're not going to make it to the mountaintop, at least try it, with what you do best. There's too many instructions. There's too much pressure about the KO. And then the age thing, like the age factor, I see people kind of taking that and applying extra pressure on them. Like, you're already 25. What are you doing? You should knock this dude out in 2 rounds. So when he doesn't do that, he feels like he's not doing what he needs to do. Young Billy, he was hesitant, right? Like Ryan Yogi talked about that too. And he was overthinking too much. When you're in the ring, it should be second nature to you. Like you can't overthink things. And I don't know, it's because maybe he was hurt in some of his previous 2 fights, and that has him thinking a little bit. Tony Boswell, the building much respect. HCP, how's it going, brother? And a chat, stop to show support, hit that like button, absolutely, man. You need to have something technical, right? But you don't have to become a master at every style of boxing or some shit. You need to do what you do, right? Now, one thing that I cannot excuse him for is his lack of a jab, especially in the first half of the fight. He is having an identity crisis, Don. Absolutely. And if people can say, no, Wally Gross, people keep saying, when people think prospects, they think teenagers, late teens, early 20s. And we've seen some guys become world champions at age 23, at age 22, age 21. So there is a lot of pressure on Berlanga because of that. He's already 25, and I get it because he is 25, right? He'll be 26 soon. But that doesn't mean you don't have to be in title contention at age 25. There's no rule that says that, right? You could be in development as long as you want. Obviously, you can't be in development forever, right? But I say they need to take about 3 years, take him out the spotlight for a little bit, and just have him work on his craft, right? Work on his craft is what they need to do. It's my personal opinion. JC wants him to change career fields. Damn. Now, granted, the same people that were hyping him up the most, were his biggest fans, were being the harshest to Berlanga, from what I saw. Those were the harshest people that were being the harshest to Berlanga. It's like they're taking it personal that he's not living up to their expectations, right? How dare you not live up to the expectations that I hyped you up for? Well, that's the expectations y'all hyped him up for. Y'all put him in that boat. There was people saying that he should, like, there was people wanting him to see him fight Canelo already. I thought that was ridiculous. You want to see him fight Canelo? Are you crazy? And then what happens? He doesn't live up to the hype that you gave him, right? You don't want to listen to people say, hey, look, man, he needs to develop more. He's knocking everybody out in the first round. He's not getting experience in a fight here, right? Tony Barlett, how's it going, brother? No, he's got skill. Believe me, I know he does. Like, okay. There is nothing like experience in the ring. Like, there's nothing like real fight stress, all right? There's nothing like actual experience in the ring. And the same goes with any sport. The same goes in any sport. There's nothing like experience in there, and you're seeing the problem right now, okay? Berlanga has fought more rounds in the last 3 fights than he did in his first 16. So he's learning and he's experiencing things now that he should have experienced in his first 10 fights already. He should have already experienced and should have already been working on some of the things that he's having problems with right now. He should have already been there. And he hasn't been. Now, I'm not blaming the matchmakers. I think Top Rank has some of the best matchmakers on the planet. A lot of it is circumstantial, right? But I'm just telling you that that first round knockout streak was not beneficial to him in the long run. And a lot of people, there's so many people jumping off the Berlanga train that makes me not want to jump off the train. All right? Now, I'm not going to go as far as to say, I believe in Edgar Berlanga. What I'm going to say is I'm going to give him a chance. All right? Me. I'm going to give Edgar Berlanga 2-3 years if they go this the route they should go. Look, Top Rank's either going to feed him to somebody or they're going to start or they're going to invest another 2-3 years on him. And it's what they need. And if they do that, I do believe Berlanga could be a bona fide top tier, top 10, solid 168 pounder, right? Will he ever be a top pound for pound? I'm sorry to say no, right? The trajectory just isn't there. But could he be a bona fide top contender, maybe even a titleist or a regular champion or something? Yes, but he needs more development, okay? That's what he needs, okay? So a lot of his own fan base, you guys put this pressure on Berlanga. You told people that he needs to knock out rolls and 3 rounds or something, do it faster than Triple G did in order to be the truth, or he's a failure. So how do you think he felt when when the 3rd round ended and he walked back to his corner? Look at his body language when he would walk back to the corner. Like, fuck, I haven't knocked this guy out yet. I know what people are here. It was already running through his head. And as a fighter, you cannot have that run through your fucking head. You need to just go out there. You need to execute, and if the knockout comes, it comes. If he dominated Rolfsford for 10 rounds, I wouldn't have given a shit if he knocked him out or not. But I saw the hesitation, but I saw the struggling, but I saw him go through a lot of problems in that ring, all right? Just what I'm going to say. Writing Yogi, I think the hype exaggerated his talents, so many were disappointed. Boxing is cruel spectator sport. You're only as good as your last fight. Berlanga needs ring IQ, and that comes with experience. There you go. New media today. USA Boxing. Shout out to Coach. You're making a valid point, ATP. The people put too much expectations on these young fighters. They do. Like, just because Teofimo became world champion at age 23, and because Haney was champion at age 21, and because Salvador Sanchez put on a Hall of Fame career by the age of 23, and I mean by that, like if we have these expectations for all fighters on the come up, like Canelo was already champion in his young 20s, like okay, not everyone develops the same, right? Just because Berlanga's 25 doesn't mean we need to just throw him to the wolves, and he should already be like a bona fide fighter, right? Because experience doesn't know how old you are, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? It's not like experience is this nature, this force in nature that just knows, oh, this dude's 25 already? All right, let me instill all this knowledge in him, and all this experience in him. No, you have to actually experience it. So I'll repeat one more time. Everybody saw talking about Brad. Oh, Bradley, you hear what he said? He said that the 16 fights by knockout in the first round were the worst thing that could have happened to him. Well, I'm glad you guys listen to Bradley because he's right. Okay? But many of us on YouTube were already saying that. And we're saying it to you Berlanga fans. And you weren't listening. You know what I mean? Tony Boswell. Let's be honest. Rose was put in there to make Berlanga look good. And it was the complete opposite. I'm glad Berlanga need a fight like this. Munguia had a tough fight with Gabe, and the results showed. Look, these are growing pains. And a lot of people scoff at that because he's 25 already, right? These are growing pains of a fighter. He's never experienced a lot of what he's seen in the last 3 fights because he knocked everybody out of the first round. Like, people can say, oh, well, he should have known what to do with Rolls already. Okay, but he's never really experienced that. He never had to deal with a guy that was choosing to be negative at points to weather that storm. Right? That's just the way that is, ladies and gentlemen. Lee Gross, ESPN also made a huge deal about the streak and lifted him to places he wasn't ready to occupy. Once the streak ended, it was replaced with learning process, and that process is occurring publicly. Yeah, look, I remember saying this. I would go on panels, right? And I'll be like, yo, guys, calm down. Like, y'all got to calm down. Like, he's knocking everybody out in the first round. Like, he's not going to knock everybody out in the first round. You guys know that, right? Like, there's no such thing as a touch of death in boxing. So, how about everybody calms down? Right? How about everybody? How about he's going to need to experience some things, right? First time he goes the distance, I said, you know what? That's the best thing that could happen to him. Best thing that could happen to him. He went the distance again after getting several knockdowns. That's okay. He needs to learn what it's like. Like, not everybody you put down is going to stay down. All right? Not everybody you touch with your biggest punch is going to get intimidated by it. All right? Like not everyone. Especially when it goes away, right? When people see, right, that you, okay, if this guy went the distance, I could go the distance. That just gives your future opponents confidence, right? Like, okay, I know he could punch, but you know what? If I give him movement, I'll just stay away from him the first few rounds, and then I'll start closing in on him. Like, fighters already know this. So he needs to work on these things. He needs to have like a counter of some sort, right? For all these things. It's kind of like this. When a quarterback, there's been times where quarterbacks start in the NFL, right? And they start looking spectacular, right? They're destroying teams. They look unstoppable, right? But what's happening in the meantime, coaches are dissecting you on film, right? They're just dissecting you. Like that's what they start doing to his quarterbacks. They're just watching film. Oh, look, when he runs to the right, he usually only does this and that. When he runs to the left, he only does this and that. Oh, look, they usually go for the run in this time, or whatever the case is, right? So what starts happening is these quarterbacks start looking less and less impressive. And eventually they get, quote unquote, they reach a point where they need to start making adjustments, okay, in order to counter what the coaches have already and the defenses have already dissected you of, right? So In boxing, it's the same way. Now, in this case, it wasn't even that difficult. He's knocking everybody out in the first round. Well, just stay away from him in the first round. Well, you know what I mean? Just let that bell ring, and then he's literally going to experience something he's never experienced before. Going to second round, right? Like, guys are learning to just weather an early storm with him, right? And then now it's even worse for Berlanga. They're learning to weather the early storm, but they're also seeing all the offensive openings that they have because they're looking at what other fighters are doing. Y'all saw the right hand that freaking Rhodes was landing, right? He landed in the first round, and I never really saw any big adjustment from Berlanga, even though Rhodes was doing this whole fight. Like it's obvious he was going to use the aiming for the right hand. What the fuck? That's what he was doing. I'm going to throw my right hand right now. Like, you're gonna that's what Rhodes was doing the whole damn fight, and Berlanga couldn't figure it out. He was like hesitant because of it. Like, oh, I got to be careful with his right hand. I don't know when it's going to come. Like, dude, Triple G figured that shit out after 2 rounds, bro. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Whoa. I'm just saying. I'm going to throw it right. Okay, you know what? This is all Rose did. The second half, all Rose did was implement the jab. Pow, pow, jab. And did you see how he was popping a jab on Berlanga? And Berlanga had no answer for it. If Rose wasn't so hesitant earlier and used that jab, he might have started piecing him apart the second half. At DStyleBoxing, how's it going, my brother? My advice to Berlanga, my advice to his camp, my advice to his handlers, if you're listening out there. Like, look, my advice, and this is the same thing Bradley said, so if you want to listen to a fighter saying it, and I agree 100%. Take the next 2 to 3 years and just work on fixing all these problems, right? Work in the camp, get him in there with some tough dudes. You know what I mean? Don't throw him in there with the wolves right now. Don't listen to the people saying, oh, he's already 25. But he's already 25, though. Teofimo was champion at 23. Don't listen to them. Okay, but by that dumb logic, okay, Benitez was champion at fucking 17 years old. Are we going to just put everybody in title fight at 17? Like, don't listen to people. Just do what you need to do. You know that this guy needs work. Okay? There's a lot of tweaking he needs and a lot of big fixes he needs. Go back to the drawing board and work on that by the age of 28 or so. Then start contending for the top 10 or some shit. Don't do it right now, because if you do, he's going to get destroyed. I'm just going to tell you that right now. If you do that, all he's going to have is a puncher's chance. And that ain't shit at this level. You throw him in there with a Morrell Jr., he's going to get fucked up. I'm just going to tell you right now. But he's got more fights than Morrell. And y'all need to stop listening to people, bro. Berlanga ain't ready. Like it's obvious. He needs some tweaking. All right? Don't listen to the people saying he's too old. Don't listen to the people saying he ain't ready. Don't listen to the people that say, oh, well, that's as good as he's gonna get. He's already 25. Don't listen to any of that shit. Don't listen to the hype. Don't listen to the people saying you have to win by knockout again in order. Like, don't listen to any of that. Just go back and work on the fucking fundamentals. Just work on that. Work on cutting off the ring. Work on the footwork. Work on punch placement. Okay, work on your punch variety. Okay, work on strategy and sticking to the game plan. Go back and work on that, and don't worry about people saying he's too old. Don't worry about people that saying he's not living up to the hype. Don't worry about any of that. Worry about none of it. This is a very unique situation where this guy was winning by first round knockout for his first 16 fights, and he has not developed. Okay? The first round knockout streak worked against him, not for him. He's learning things. He's going through things now that he should have gotten, that he should have already experienced. Point blank. But it's only as good as it can absorb and apply in training. That's right. Very true. What's up, Lee Groves? Well, that's true. He's in a trap now. He's already established as a main event level fighter on ESPN, so he was in the world rankings. Too much, too fast. Now time for humility. Take a step back and earn hard. I agree. They need to take him out. Like it's just. I know what's. They're probably not going to do this, but to me, I don't want to make the video saying I told you so, and I just don't want to come on live, and I probably won't. The day he loses, he's going to get trashed on even worse. Okay. A lot of his former fans are going to be some of the worst at it. Say Berlanga didn't live up to this. He didn't live up to that. He was all hype. Blah blah blah. If you put him in there with a Gabriel Sado next, I think he will lose. I just got to be honest with you. Aside from a puncher's chance, I don't know what other chance he has. He needs to develop. Kenneth Sims, yeah, they could do that fight. You know? Yes. So, it is what it is. With that said, that's all I got, guys. I don't have much else to say. Thank you to everybody that joined me and commented. I appreciate it. This is DStyleBoxing. Keep it boxing. I'm out of here. Peace.